Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Eelco. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for a film called Metal Lords. Apologize for the delay because I don't have Netflix, so this was a film on Netflix. I have to find some other way to watch it. And Metal Lords came out around, I guess, this year. About these two kids. One's a bit more nerdy, one's a bit more of a metalhead, but they're trying to be in a band. And then at one point, there's a battle of the bands. And there's this one girl the nerdy guy sees who plays the cello. And he likes her for a bit. And I just sort of call it coming of age story, maybe drama, maybe a little bit of comedy. At the end of the day, I was not a fan of the film. It's not a rant because I didn't hate the film, but I wasn't really a fan of this. The two kids, they weren't like terrible actors, but at the same time, I never bought them as big heavy metal fans. They felt more like posers to me. I felt like Detroit Rock City. I thought it was much more fun, much more endearing, much more entertaining. And I bought those guys as like metalheads. The one guy was more into it. He did feel like the guy that the jock would pick up and put his head in the toilet. And the nerdy guy, he felt like he didn't indifferent to it all. Like almost every situation, he was very indifferent. Like he didn't even want to be a fan of metal. Like he didn't. It felt like at times he didn't want to be part of the band. Like he liked drumming, but he didn't want to be part of a metal band. He just felt indifferent to me, and I don't know. It was hard to buy these guys as fans. I mean, the soundtrack was cool. There was some Judas Priest. There was some Metallica. And you look at their place, and there's Megadeth posters and Anthrax stuff. And the story just really wasn't that entertaining or interesting, or it just fell flat to me. Just as I'm watching it, they go to a party. And the nerdy guy's trying to talk to a girl while the metalhead gets picked on by a jock. Or at one point they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. And some other guys going, man, this sucks compared to Call of Duty. And again, the nerdy guy, who I know he's the guy that played Bill, the little kid in the remake of Stephen King's It. I don't know, maybe it was, I don't know if his performance, like I said, wasn't terrible, but I don't know if he was just flat or just the character was flat. I just didn't find them really interesting characters. Or characters I really cared about at all. I didn't give a flying fuck about them. And it's like the metal guy is forcing the nerdy guy to like metal. Because even the way that the nerdy guy talks, and I say this because I don't remember their names, because the characters did not make a big impression on me. It's like so many times the metalhead is like forcing the nerd to like metal and this and that, and it's like, no, this kid doesn't seem like he's into it at all. He doesn't want to change the way he has to drum. And like I said, there's this battle of the bands coming up, and the metal guy tries to act all hard and tough, and he just couldn't pull it off. And he just comes off as an asshole, too. Which, I mean, is part of the point of the story. I mean, he even steers this girl, the cello player, steers her with a guitar. Almost like he's ready to smack her. I'm like, this guy is an asshole. Who are you to stop a man who strives with God? He like tells his wife he's trying to get into a party thinking he's going to dress up like Kiss or something. And he gets hit in the nuts. I'm like, this guy's a poser. This guy ain't a metalhead. This guy's just come off as a poser. And like the nerdy guy, he has this. He gets in with this other band and he's the drummer of this other band. And there's this other girl he might hit on, but then he looks over and he sees visions, and there's members of Anthrax, a member of Metallica, a member of Judas Priest, pretty much telling him not to do it and go back with your buddy. I'm like, I don't care if he goes back with his buddy, because I just don't care. So that guy, the metalhead guy's in some clinic because he loves heavy metal so much. The nerdy guy gets him out of there. A little bit of saying sorry. They go to the Battle of the Bands. The metal guy, I think his name was Hunter, the more I think about it, he breaks his leg during it. They get second place, but now they're all three a band. The cello player doesn't really get much of a character. It's just, when we first see her, she's practicing with the regular school band and she goes nuts, goes crazy. And then our nerdy guy tossed her from time to time, but she doesn't really get any much of a character arc or much of a character background, or other than a little bit of her and the nerdy guy falling in love. And I'm sitting there going, other than the soundtrack, which you could listen to this on YouTube. I mean, you can listen to the songs of Anthrax and Metallica and such on YouTube. I just don't really... I know Eelco is a big fan of it. I just didn't see the appeal. Again, what kept making me go is I'd rather watch Detroit Rock City or some other film. I mean, there's been other films of people who are really into heavy metal. Bill and Ted. Either watch a Bill and Ted movie, at least the first two, or I keep going back to Detroit Rock City. Which that was a film I remember watching. It really surprised me by how much fun I had. But here, it was kind of a plot that was kind of just drifting along the reins. And if it was trying to be a comedy, I can't remember much stuff that was funny. If it was trying to be a drama, there wasn't really a whole lot that was hard-hitting, other than, their background's a little bit sketchy. Like, the heavy metal guy's father isn't really the best guy, but there's not really any culmination of that. There's no Breakfast Club moment where they come to a big realization of what's going on with their family or their parents or anything of that sort. It kind of made me go, what was the whole point of the movie? Other than, at the end, they're practicing in their basement for the love of the music. But, like, the acting, I guess I would call the acting average, and the characters just flat. And I can't really say I didn't relate to them, and I didn't really care for them. And again, the one nerdy guy just felt indifferent most of the time, and the other was just an asshole most of the time. So it's like indifferent, boring, flat guy, and asshole dickhead guy. Who, again, they felt like posers of heavy metal fans. I don't know, I know it comes off as more of a rant, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't title it that way, because usually if it's titled that, it's me being really visibly angry. But again, it doesn't make me angry, because like, the way it's filmed is adequate. The acting's not garbage acting, far from it. You can at least get some nice songs on the soundtrack to listen to. And a few rock star cameos, like I mentioned, that vision the nerdy guy has. But I mean, when you watch it, it just makes you go, eh. In one ear, out the other, very, very forgettable. Did not leave much of an impression. and just didn't really leave much of a... There really wasn't much memorable about it. That's just me, though. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.